Welcome to Herschy and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
You're on, Mikey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. We're early today. It's the early bird special on Herschy and the Keegs. Grab your hips, play with your nips. We're going to have some fun today. Nips and Hips is back. That's always a good go-to.
Nips and Hips are our favorite way to go.
Yep.
Here we are.
So here we are. Welcome. Things are going on. It's been a week, huh?
It's been a week. Obviously, we had quite a show last week. We had Priscilla and Asa Moss on from Fathering Autism. My last check was between the multiple platforms that we are out on. We were over 10,000 movements. Is it movements?
I've had 10,000 movements.
10,000. You had it.
I had them on the show while it was happening.
Is that after Taco Bell? You had that?
Exactly.
We had between YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Pandora, and what is it? Your sister's ass? Is that what they say?
We've had 10,000 movements on your sister's ass.
I feel like if we don't say your sister's ass, we don't. We don't fit.
I lose my Italian card.
We lose our credibility if we don't say your sister's ass.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to say
but
that.
We had a big week last week.
I hate when people say that.
I think we should touch on that a little bit because
touch on your sister's ass.
She'll be here in a little bit. We can do that, but we were floating out of here last week. We really felt terrific about that show. We enjoyed interviewing Asa, Priscilla Moss, and basically nothing could go wrong. And then stuff went wrong. Then stuff went wrong when Mike noticed that we were being inundated on I think YouTube was where it was, where there was some pretty horrific comments, somewhat guided towards us, really more so towards Priscilla and Asa.
They were criticizing us for not doing our homework on the guests that we had.
Yes.
Because these people that were criticizing are these like crazy, like internet obsessed. They become obsessed with like a family. They go on all these conspiracy theory, strange websites.
That's right.
And they've been attacking this poor family.
Right. And for people who don't know, Priscilla and Asa Moss and Fathering Autism is a site where they basically take care of their 18-year-old daughter, Abby, who is a nonverbal autistic young lady. And they kind of go through the trials and tribulations of her life. And it brings a lot of joy to people. It also brings a lot of education to people who have autistic children, even to people who don't have autistic children. And generally speaking, anything that I've ever seen about them has been extremely positive. And then these total loony birds are going on. And Mike sent me some comments. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And the first comment Mike sent was, I can't believe you put these two morbidly obese alcoholics on your show who let their daughter walk around a restaurant barefoot like a vagrant.
Exactly. I'm like, I heard two morbidly obese alcoholic grifters, and I'm like, hey, you can't talk to me and Mark like that.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's accurate, but
it's not. We're both doing very well.
Yeah,
we look thin.
We're not grifters.
No.
Facebook also had a lot of...
Yeah, there was a lot of shit.
Even today. Still going on today, by the way.
Oh, we haven't looked.
I didn't check today because I've been going through a phone issue.
Yeah.
But one thing, these people keep mentioning this one site, like Kiwi Island.
Oh, yeah. So let's just prepare what, and I'll let you finish that.
Right.
But they keep on referring to these facts that apparently someone had children out of wedlock, whatever. But their sources are not like it's not like CNN.com.
No, exactly.
It's what is it like?
Kiwi Farmers or something.
KiwiFarms.net.
Yeah.
Like there's no
KiwiFarms.psycholunatic.net.
There's no credibility to it. Of course, Mike and I did our research afterwards just to make sure that we didn't have lunatics on the show.
I
we didn't.
I go
we
into
know we
rabbit
didn't.
hole. Listen, I have nothing to do.
Nothing.
You people that criticize,
nothing.
You think I don't vet people? I have nothing
He's a vet.
to do.
I'm a vet. He's a vet.
He's
basically a vet.
I was in Vietnam.
He's a veterinarian.
I am a veterinarian.
Yeah.
Exactly. I touch little animals. So I even went to this site that this woman kept mentioning.
Right.
It's taken down. They took the site down.
You cannot find even close to one credible source saying one bad thing about these people with any proof at all.
You know how hard it is to get an internet site taken down? How much false information?
Yeah.
Because you know what it is? These people have nothing to do, and they'd find these families and they troll them. People have killed themselves because of trolls on this website, and that's why they take it down. It's all debunked stuff. Yeah,
it's really it's totally nuts. And but like I said, it was definitely it was definitely a little bit of a wake-up call. It's probably, we've had shows that have gone into the thousands. This was probably our high water point, high water mark.
It's our high water point.
Water torture. Yeah. What happened to us?
It was definitely water torture.
It was something, and for a second it brought me down a peg a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stand up to these fucking people, which I know is not the best idea. We went at them a little bit, and we said some horrible things to them.
And the only reason I did was because it feeds the algorithm the more you comment and react. Right. So I'm like, you know what? Let's keep getting... Yeah. So otherwise, I don't react to these idiots.
One of them...
Listen, thank you, Asa and Priscilla, for coming on. It was a great interview.
We loved it. People. We love them, and we're going to be friends with them for life.
Exactly. Yeah.
No matter what horrible things they've done.
I know. They invited me down to Florida. I'm going.
You're going to go to Florida. Yeah. You did get private message by a Twilly Toilet.
Twilly Twillerton or something? Yeah.
And she sent Mike a private message, and she was trying to be nice. She's like, listen, I'm not a bad person, but these people, according to myducksnort.net.
Exactly.
There's nothing there, though.
Yeah. I'm like, you're not a bad person, you're a sad person.
Sad.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Twilla Twillerson.
A couple of those.
Twilla Davila is her name. I'm like none of these people have real profile pictures.
Right.
None of them have any information.
Right.
Nothing, no family information.
No.
It's a fake name. Nobody's named Twilla Davila, you idiot.
You know what? If
stupid name.
If any of these people had profile pictures that were something other than anime,
exactly.
I would be like, you know what? There's something here to it. But it's all bullshit.
Yeah, if it's you and your husband and your kid, I'll look into it a little bit more.
We believe it. We'll buy.
But nobody would marry
you.
We'll
bite.
Exactly. I'll bite.
Yeah, but there's nothing.
I have nothing to do.
So that was kind of wacky, but we overcame that, and we're coming into this week with a fury, because obviously we're riding the high of last week. The tone of this week's a little bit different. We were kind of thrown into this. We weren't planning on having a session about the Gilgo Beach murders, but you know what?
We're Long Island boys. This is a Long Island podcast.
We're the eyes and ears of this town.
Exactly.
We're two handsome, young, bedimpled fellows. Do you have dimples?
It's somewhere.
I'll give you one. I don't want to see your butt dimples.
Not on my face, but yeah, I do.
But we decided that we needed to go ahead and respond to the people. So fortunately for us, one of the most prominent figures in this case, other than the murderer, really,
other than Sexy Rexy,
and the poor girls who were murdered in this case, we have the armchair detective himself, Mr. Nick Greystone, coming on the show live in studio.
Coming in here?
He's coming in here.
He's a meme. Yeah. He's a viral meme. He's coming on our show.
We're going to post a picture of the meme, and then we're gonna just speak words out of his mouth. But cool. Nick's going to be here in a few minutes. He's on the case tonight. He had a couple of things he had to do. Mm-hmm. But he's going to kind of give us a little update as to what's happening. Yeah. But before that, we're going to just kind of cover what's been happening with you and I before we get there, because it's been a couple of weeks since we've just had some Mike and Mark time.
I know.
So we're going to do that. Mike and Mark time is certainly very important. Yeah. And so I know that there was something before last week's show. You're like, I got to tell you this, and I'm like, if it's going to be something that's going to be controversial at all, let's not talk about it before Asa and Priscilla come on. So go ahead.
I wanted to talk about it last week.
Yeah,
because it just happened.
That day.
So I'm like, I got to talk to you about it, and you're like, if it's good stuff, save it for the podcast, like we try to do.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if I can hold it in for because
you held it in.
Adorable little love, Juliana.
Mike has a stepchild named Juliana, who's just turned 8 years old.
A little moppet of a thing, a cute little...
She's fresh off of her christening.
Yes, she was just christened.
Christened at 8 years old.
All the demons have been exorcised from her body.
Well, we know that wasn't the case. Tell us why.
She goes to camp during the day.
She does. Camp Lejeune.
Camp Lejeune. Yeah, she drinks the water at Camp Lejeune. Mm-hmm. And I get a phone call from Carla, and Carla was in the city.
Carla's her birth mother.
Yeah. And she goes, "Can you pick Juliana up at camp?" I'm like, "Oh my God, is she hurt? Is everything okay?
Is he okay? Did she fall? Did she scrape herself?
Yeah, exactly.
Does she not
they
feel well?
They have a
Heat
pool
stroke.
there. I'm like,
It's hot out. Anything? You're nerve stricken at this point.
I'm like, is she hurt? Nope.
Right. Nothing.
There was a situation. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what was that? It was kind of a racial thing. I'm like, they're 8 years old. What kind of racial thing?
And this is a girl who's of mixed race. She's Latin. She's other things.
She's Hispanic. She's who knows?
Yeah, could be anything.
Yeah. But apparently, and listen, Juliana does not have a racist bone in her body. Neither do I or Carla. Especially Carla. She's I have a certain persona that I put off.
You probably have a persona, but it's not you.
It's not me.
No.
And I've always thought everybody's equal. Blah blah. And Carla's a very staunch Democrat.
As far
liberal,
left as you can be. As
And
far
we've
left.
always taught her everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes in the heat of the moment, you say some things.
Right, especially when you play video games.
Exactly.
It happens, yeah.
So she got into an argument with a little girl who was picking on her, by the way. She
Right.
told other kids not to talk to Juliana.
So let's
Kid was
make
kinda
sure that this is a fact here that doesn't get talked about in the case. In this particular case, is that this kid was bothering her and being rude and
but
nasty
also
to her.
everything bothers her. But
Yeah.
she, the girl goes, "I don't want to sit next to you, Juliana." And Juliana goes, "Well, I don't want to sit next to you. You're black."
Oh wow. Wow. And that's not a Juliana thing.
That's
to
not
say.
a Juliana thing to say.
And not how she's raised that
but
kid.
not how she's raised at all either.
No.
And she was immediately kind of taken back when she said it.
Right.
She said, and I believe her.
Yes.
She meant to say, "I don't want to sit next to you because you have a black heart."
Oh, your heart is black.
Your heart is black. You're
Nothing
not
to do
a
with
nice
race.
person.
Black
But
heart
the
meaning
kid-
a bad person.
The kid
Tony.
with the black heart also
Yeah.
happened to have black skin.
Skin,
But
hands,
we don't look at these
arms,
things, and
everything.
neither does Juliana.
No.
So I felt so bad. 'Cause I had to pick her up, and I was a little angry. I'm like, we don't talk like that, obviously. So,
Yeah.
So I'm picking her up, and I'm just confused how that would even come out. And
Yeah.
She kind of told me the story. She was hysterical crying when I picked her
Right,
up.
right.
So and I know she's obviously upset. I spoke to
course.
the counselor about it. I'm like, that's not us.
Nope.
So Juliana gets in the car, and she's just profusely apologizing.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know, I would never say that. I don't hate anybody. She goes, my best friend is black, which is her best friend is black.
Yep.
My cousin is black. She has a black cousin.
Of course she does.
And then she goes, and I love Martin Luther King.
She's a big MLK fan.
She's a big MLK fan.
She's had a dream,
8-year-old
Juliana. She's
yeah.
had a lot of dreams.
He's like 4 years ago. She did like a presentation on Martin Luther King
Right.
in school.
Yeah.
And she never forgets anything. This kid, and it's just the funniest thing. And it was like as seething mad as I was that she would say something like that.
Right.
As soon as she said that, I'm like, I can't be mad at this kid. That's
I
the
love
funniest,
her.
This cutest thing. And she goes, and you know, I love Martin Luther King.
She's so sweet, and this is all resolved.
It's all
and
resolved.
Ultimately,
And listen, all her friends, she goes to school in a predominantly black neighborhood.
Black,
All
Hispanic.
all her friends, she doesn't see color. She meant to
No.
say black heart.
yeah.
So don't write hate mail to Juliana.
And listen, when push comes to shove, there was a happy ending here because she got what she wanted, which was being out of that girl's group.
Exactly.
She didn't want.
Seriously, they moved her into a different group the next day.
It's a win. It's a win-win.
Carla tells me, "Oh, they moved her into a different group." I'm like, "Oh yeah." She goes, "There's not one kid in that group that's not white."
Oh.
I'm like, no, that's like in prison. Like you find your clique and you.
But that's
first
not
of all,
what Juliana wanted.
You attack the first day and then you move in with the white supremacists.
That's not what Juliana wanted. She's
No.
not a white kid.
No.
She looks like
Hispanic.
a
She looks
Latin kid.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a
She
little
looks
Latin,
like a little Puerto Rican doll.
Yeah, no, she's Colombian. I keep
Oh,
on
yeah,
telling you that.
that's what I meant.
Yeah, this is your stepdaughter.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, so it's all
resolved, and she got what she wanted by destroying my phone the other day at the fair.
she broke your phone at the
Broke my
fair.
phone, so I have two phones today. I'm transferring data over.
Have
I
you
haven't
guys
had
thought? I mean, I don't even know what age it can happen, but military school for this child.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, I don't think you can be 8 in military school, but I think that
Exactly, yeah.
within a year or two, she's going to be.
Yeah. I'll tell you, she'll go to that military school and she'll scare the shit out of the drill
Scare.
instructors. She's the cutest little angel of a thing, but she's terrifying.
What's her nickname? Leapfrog? You call her? What is it?
The mouse.
Mouse.
The little mouse.
I knew it was something. I always
The little
forget.
mouse. He always,
yeah.
The mosquito.
I thought the other day I asked her if her name was Salamander.
We just got a salamander.
You did?
An axolotl, actually, but it's in the salamander family.
Say that one more time.
Axolotl?
Axolotl. Okay.
Yeah.
My hunch is that axolotl is not long for this earth, knowing Juliana.
Well, we got two. One of them died already.
Yeah, so you're doing
We got
well.
them like a month ago.
Oh, they're only supposed to live for 50 years.
They do. They have a 15-year lifespan.
Yeah, so you're right there, Mike.
Yeah.
You're right there. You almost did it.
I'm getting messages. I think I'm getting yelled at.
No, she doesn't want you talking about the baby. Is that what's happening? Are we getting yelled at already?
No.
No, we're okay. So that worked out okay. That everything worked out with that.
Yeah, she's a good kid.
I have a little confession to make
boy.
that I didn't want to talk about. Again, this is going back to the when we started the show. One of our first in-house guests was the very well-known Jackie Martling, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, and the show started at 9:00, and Jackie came in here at 8:59, and he basically just started screaming at me and Mike. At the time, Sally was the producer, and he came in and he was angry at a couple of things. He didn't like the fact that we were sitting that he was going to be on the couch, I think it was. Yeah. But more than that, we weren't on the air yet, and he saw that me and Mike were talking, and he started screaming at us, "You never talk before a show. What if that's content you guys are going to use on the radio?" And so that was one piece of one little tidbit that I took out of that you and I do our best from week to week to try not to talk about content that we're going to bring up on the show.
One of us will slip a little bit, and the other one catches
it.
Save it for the podcast.
We won't go down the rabbit hole of something really good.
Yeah.
So I will tell you that it happened, and it's a little embarrassing, but it was...
Is it the glasses? Is it those glasses you're wearing?
It's not the glasses. Okay. Thank you for bringing it up, though. There's a lot of people that do like these. And basically, what had happened... these are D&G glasses. Thank you very much.
Nice. I do like them.
So basically what had happened was this. You know that every Wednesday, I have permission from you to go on to your Facebook page with the login and the password, because there's times when I will harass you on a Wednesday morning saying, "Mike, did you send the information yet? Did you send out the link?" And you're busy, you're doing stuff. So at one point a few months ago or a month ago, I said, "Hey, can I just have access? And I'm not going to fuck around with your page, and I'm not going to sabotage it." Although one time I accidentally did by deleting a lot of your friends, thinking that it was my page and I didn't know who these people were. But as I'm
deleted my mom.
Yeah, it was. I didn't mean it. It was totally unintentional. But long story short, what had happened was I'm there and a message pops up. Okay. And for people who don't know this, Mike, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, any platform that he will get a message from someone, he will just continue to ride out that message no matter what. He will ride these people to death. And what happened was, this was a person who was part of some sort of like foot fetish organization, okay, that you had, I guess, at some point opened up a line of communication with. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I think the question was like, are you going to suck my big middle toe? And then you wrote something horrific like, only if you stick it up my ass first. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I couldn't wait to get off of your page fast enough. I was like so nervous. I'm like, I didn't want to see anything that was going to incriminate me in some sort of a case. So like, I'm sharing the link. I'm doing all the things I do, and I'm logging out of it before.
Oh so, no, I do it like I do it for my own personal.
I know you do.
I'm not sharing on Facebook. So like,
no. Was the guy's name Rex?
Rex. It was Rex Hewerman.
Mm-hmm. It was so embarrassing for me.
Oh man, I got to go back and look at that too.
That's another thing I wanted to tell you, that you can't, because I already read it. Like you don't notice that it's a new message. So I'm like, shit. Like I'm reading.
I got to go back then.
Yeah. So it was pretty awesome though, in a nerve-wracking way. And I I confess things to you. I don't like to hold secrets in. I can't do that.
Oh, you know what? I actually think I know exactly what the one you're talking about too. I'm gonna go back and look at it.
Yeah. Go back and look at it, because, like I said, I don't like to keep in secrets, and I wasn't going to tell you because I was so embarrassed and uncomfortable, but I felt like I needed to do that. And
I like, like when I go away, like to do shows and stuff, mm-hmm. I like going on like weird things to see like what's going on, like what weird things are going on in that area.
Fetish event is happening. Something like that. Like
this past weekend, I was at Catch a Rising Star in Princeton, New Jersey.
Yeah, you were.
Like, all right, let me see what weird sex fetish things are going on there.
Right.
Because I wanted to send it to Jay Nog, who I was doing the weekend with.
Who also likes that weird shit.
The night that we were there, only 5 miles from where we were staying, there was a circle jerk going on.
Oh my God, that's right up your alley.
I sent it to him.
It's like your childhood being revisited all over again.
I sent it to him. I'm like, I want to go, like, just for, because this was Friday night and we're also doing a show Saturday. Right. I'm like, we'll be able to fill a whole night of material on Saturday. With
you want to go just for like 2-3 hours?
I just want to see. I don't even want to like be a part. I just want to ask if I could just hang out and watch.
Right, and clean up.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Just be in the middle and like
wear high boots and just go ahead.
Exactly. So like I do stuff like that just to see like what weird stuff is going on.
Yes, I know. That's why you do it. That's what they want. That's what everyone there does.
Yeah, that's what Rex said too.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of Rex.
Listen, We can't wait anymore. He's been standing outside the studio door for a good solid
Like
3 minutes.
impending death.
It feels like he's been out there for an hour because we're so excited about this. We love him, and we're just going to bring him right in right now. He's here, the armchair detective himself, our former guest and future guest and present guest, Mr. Nick Greystone, armchair detective from the Gilgo Beach trial. Here he is. Hello, Mr. Nicky.
Nicky, what's going
Put
on?
put him on that headset. Put on that mic, and let's roll with you.
How's this table? Girth friendly? Good.
You've been in there before.
It used to be a lot worse. Remember how it used to be set up in here, where it was like right up against that wall, and you could barely squeeze by. Like I didn't think I couldn't even. I think I couldn't even squeeze.
Just
by
drop your tits on that
then.
table and let's talk about these fucking murders, buddy boy. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely.
So let me just give you a little introduction. So Nick has been a guest of ours before. He's a good friend of ours. Well before Thursday, when all this shit went down, Nick Greystone has been on the limelight of Long Island for many years. He is the lead singer of a very, very popular band on Long Island called Demon Scar. He goes by the name Nizza. People know him. He's got thousands and thousands of followers. And this is kind of like it's bringing a new dimension. Is that the word? Dimension?
Dynamic.
Okay, very good. Is that a fruit fly?
I think that came out of me.
For those who don't know Nick, like me and Mike know, I know for as long as I've known Nick, which is many years now, that he has been very obsessed with the Gilgo Beach murders. So certainly when I first heard that this was going down, my first thought was Nick's going to be on the scene. Little did I know that he was not only on the scene, but he had been already interviewed by Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 11. He had been called the armchair detective by Kristen Thorne of Channel 7 News.
Yes.
There was a meme made out of him wearing the hat and the glasses that he's wearing right now, and that meme has gone over many thousands of times right now.
Yeah, today was, what was it, yesterday? Retweeted by Oberman, right?
Yeah,
Keith
Keith
Olbermann,
Olbermann,
ESPN retired sportscaster, had retweeted it, but it's been sent around many, many, many times to the point where it was sent to me. People had no idea I knew him, and I'm like, "What are you doing, sending a picture of my friend to me?"
My cousin posted it on his Facebook page.
Yeah.
Not knowing, obviously, that I know you or you've been on the show. He doesn't listen to the show. He's a jerk off.
Right.
And he posted, I'm like, that's my boy, Nick Gray. Because the first time I saw it also, I had seen that you posted that you were going to go there. And then I saw that picture, and I'm like, oh, my God, that looks just like Nick Greystone. And it took me like a good 10 minutes to be like, you know what, maybe that was Nick.
It was Nick. It was Nick.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I show up, and obviously, like, that was, by the way, a great introduction. I've never been to a crime scene, something like that. And I knew it was going to be big because this case, the way that this attorney last night, I went to a thing called with Robert J., who represents Shannon Gilbert. She's one of the victims that they found there. And he said, and this perfectly sums it up, that this case is kind of like a modern-day Jack the Ripper. Because of 25 years.
Hold the mic in a little bit, Nicky. Yeah.
25 years this has been going on. You know, it's been cold for 13 years.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, like, I didn't think I'd ever see the day that they would bring somebody in as a suspect. Like, I was at work and I was just like, as soon as I saw it.
Well, that's what I want to know. Let's stop right there. So you're at work. What's your first, how do you hear about it, and what's your reaction? Just that minute. Tell us.
Anthony texted me.
Okay. So
Anthony broke the news?
Anthony DiDomenico texted me, and he said, he gave me the address, and he goes, put this on your tour. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, go on Facebook, you'll see. And then all of a sudden it says, suspect arrested, police scene at his house in Massapequa Park for the Gilgo Beach murders. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, are you kidding me?
So that was it. You're like a little bit taken aback.
Yeah. So at that point, I was supposed to work until 1:30. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to work until 1.
Yep.
I'm not going to take a lunch. I'm just going to go straight through, go there.
Yep.
This is about 9:30.
Yep.
About 9:32, I got up from where I was when my senses came to me, and I'm like, this shit's hot right now. I got to get the hell out of here.
I'm on the fucking case.
Right, exactly.
I'm on the case.
And my supervisors are mad cool. They're always like, you know, if you have to like leave, just punch out. You can always make it up on the back end.
Right.
So
I was just gonna say, I'm like, you have that kind of cloud at work where you can just walk
it's
out.
all
and
good.
It's awesome.
Like if I make up the time, You know, if something comes up, they could say, come back later, finish your tour or whatever. I work with a good crew.
Yeah.
They take care of me, so it's good. So I went up to him. I was just like, listen, dude, I'm going to punch out for lunch now. I'll take like a 2-hour lunch, and I'll just finish up on the back end. And I headed right over to the house. As soon as I got there, it was a little hard to get like in vicinity of the house.
Hard to navigate.
Because the perimeter of it was closed off. Now, it was like blocked off like an extra block. So I just pulled up, and there was a cop standing there, and I'm like, can I walk up there? And he was like, yeah, just stay on the sidewalk. You're fine.
Really?
I walked right up, and I walked right into the media pit.
The media pit.
The media pit was all set up. Every news station was there. They had cameras set up. There was a dude with a lounge chair because he had been there since like 6 in the morning, because it actually started, the scene was at about 6 in the morning. Because, obviously we know now he got arrested the night before.
The night Thursday evening he was pinched.
Right. But then Friday morning at 6 a.m. they just waited, I guess, for the first glimmer of light. Yep. And they went into that house and they started ripping the shit out of it.
Tearing it up, tearing the yard up, everything.
So this is about 10:30.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this girl walks up. I think she was with like the FBI. They said,
Son of a bitch.
Rodney, forget his last name. Rodney Harrison is going to make a statement in about 10 minutes. So everyone's
Very
just
articulate.
getting camera.
Yeah.
All the cameras are ready. And I put my thing on Facebook Live. Boom. I started filming it.
Done.
At that point, they're interviewing some neighbors and stuff. And they're talking about, not many people did not know what this dude, who he was. The house looked like like the neighborhood, like shithole.
Shambles.
So they kind of like stayed away from it. But then there was this
Dilapidated.
neighbor, like a Freddy Krueger house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
minus the striped shirt.
right, exactly. So this neighbor starts getting interviewed, and I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden, this is Channel 4. Channel 4 looks at me, and they're like, can you believe this? Like, the woman started talking to me, and I was like, nah, this is pretty crazy. She's like, you want to get interviewed? And I'm like, sure. So I gave a little brief thing. This is not the one that you saw. This is not the one that went viral.
Okay.
So Channel 7 was the one that went viral.
Right.
So then Channel 7, Kristen Thorne, goes on, and she starts doing her take on saying, like, after the press conference and everything, about how it got pinged from his cell phone, and that's how they caught up to him. Mm-hmm. So I let her, I was filming her doing that.
Right.
And then...
You're just doing your job like her.
Exactly. I'm just sitting there doing my armchair. I wasn't even named the armchair detective at that point.
Not yet.
So
things evolute.
She gets off the interview, and then all of a sudden, like, she's just like typing in her phone or whatever, and I'm like, can you imagine that shit? After all these years in a cold case, that this dude got popped because of a cell phone.
Wow.
She starts laughing. She's like, I can't believe it, right? She's like, did you ever think that this was going to happen? I'm like, no. So then I started talking
He's
to her.
got, like, colleagues now that he works in the media field with.
Exactly. Like
all these years, Nick, we've been on this case together. Can you believe this?
sharing like media jargon with each other, Like
She's like, are you from around here?
You guys
I'm
want to
like,
do Quiznos or pizza today? What do you want to do?
I'm like 4 towns over. I'm from Belmore. So then she told me she hosts a show on Hulu. And I asked her if she ever did an episode. It's about cold cases. And I asked her if she ever did an episode about Robert Schulman, who's the serial killer from the post office that works in the office that I work in.
Son of a bitch.
So she's like, no, I never did. And I'm like, well, I have the case file. I have letters that he wrote to like a coworker. And she's like, that's amazing. She's like, wait a minute, do you want to get interviewed right now? And I'm like, yes. So she interviews me.
Armchair, you want in?
No. I'd rather. Please look at me. Do you think I want to stay in the background? Like,
Kristen, please relax.
So she interviews me, and then she's like, take a walk with me to the news van. I go to the news van. She gives
bang
me
her out? Oh,
no.
Please,
That's what
please.
That's what I thought it was going.
This is a classy act I did
Yes.
once in my life.
Yes.
She gave me the business card, and she was just like, please be in contact with me. So hopefully that will work out in the future. But
course it
now
will.
I'm totally wrapped up in this with like the Gilgo thing.
Yeah.
So maybe about an hour after that, I get back to work. And about a half hour after that, one of the postal inspectors comes out and he's like, holy shit, Nick's a fucking meme. And he shows the meme, and then my phone hasn't stopped blowing up ever since.
How crazy
So
is that?
there's
man?
one thing that I want to, like I said, I know you for a long time, and I want to separate a couple of things here because you, obviously part of the meme and the allure of the meme is that you're wearing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre hat.
Yeah.
So I want to
look
bring
like a dirtbag piece of shit.
But I want to bring to light that you are and have been for as long as I know you, and Anthony DiDomenico knows you since you're kids, and I'm sure he can attest to the fact that you've always been this kid where you love horror flicks. You go to these different what do you call these shows?
Conventions.
You go to conventions. You get autographs, people, pictures. They all know you. You bring your daughter there. Your ex-wife used to go with you all the time.
All the time, yeah.
But I think
this is a lively thing for me. This
Yes.
is not a costume that I put on
This
to
is
play
you.
a character and to look like, a buffoon on TV, whatever.
You don't look like you're a buffoon. You look like a beautiful man and our hero.
Thanks, man. I
But
appreciate
the
that.
one thing I want to make sure that we separate is that just because you love Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Jaws and all these horror flicks, as much as you love them is as much as you hate real life killers. You don't.
Man. I'm fascinated by it.
Right.
I've always been fascinated by true crime because of the backstory, where it started, how it started,
who this person was.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like everyone's tale is different, and it goes back to when I was a kid. The first, I'm thinking I was in LA with my parents when I was about 10 years old, and I had a copy of Helter Skelter. Now, a 10-year-old reading Helter Skelter, maybe it wasn't the most normal thing in the world, but I was begging my father to take me to Spawn Movie Ranch, and he didn't. He was like, "I'm not
a pig."
Yeah.
I'm not taking you there. No way, and I got there this year. That was great. But I finally visited the area. It's closed off. But yeah, so this whole true crime thing has just been with me. Every time I go on some kind of trip, I always check and see the history. If there's a true crime spot, I'll check it out. Just because, I don't know, I'm curious. I just want to see where it would happen.
I think it's important for people to realize that you're not like one of these Charles Manson fans.
No.
It's just the opposite. You want to get to the bottom of these things. You want to know how they derived and how they can catch a guy like Rex Heuermann. You want to dig deep, and that's why you became the armchair detective.
I'm not like jerking off in the basement with the case files. Right. Now I'm in the attic doing it, but it's different. No, I'm not some weirdo that's like getting off on the fact that, innocent people got killed or whatever. It's something that has always been an interest.
People that mattered.
What? Who?
You killed hookers. They're disposable people.
They're sex workers, brother. They have a union. They're unionized and shit.
Listen to me. There are people who are watching that don't know your sense of humor, that you're just kidding about that, obviously.
Of course I'm kidding.
Oh, God in heaven, you bastard.
No. I'm Mike. I say wacky things. All right. But here's my question, though. Sorry to interject, but
cut his mic.
Have you been, not just recently, but the Gilgo Beach stuff you've been following for a long time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, was there anything that I know you didn't know it was Rex Heuermann, but is there anything like, no, that's the kind of guy exactly that I thought it would be, a guy?
No, dude. I honestly, I did not know. I thought that it was multiple people, part of some sex ring, like. This whole thing last night that I went to with Shannon Gilbert, she's not even attached to Rex Heuermann right now because her case and her story is so out there, and it involves, the Suffolk County Police. And I'm going to say it again, like I said last night when I went on the live. I'm not a cop hater. I don't go out and say, fuck the cops, all cops are bastards, all that shit. I have friends, I have family that are law enforcement. Just because a couple of, piece of shit work in that field doesn't mean the whole department over the whole world are bad. Of
course not.
So the Suffolk County, police department dropped the ball on that investigation 13 years ago, and it was because I feel that Jimmy Burke, that was the in charge at that time, he wanted to cover his own ass because of his own things going on. Do I think Jimmy Burke killed someone in the Gilgo? It killed Shannon Gilbert? I don't know. He was definitely a part of it, and he covered it up for some reason. Yeah. Now, there's only two reasons why that cop covered that up, and he did not call in the FBI. And it's like the Quint syndrome from Jaws. He was too proud, and he wanted his company and his people to solve the crime, or he was covering something up.
Yeah.
So it
Either
had
way,
to be
either way,
something.
they dropped the ball.
Hardcore.
In an
All right,
incredible
so
fashion.
gun to your head, is it choice A or choice B? Was he covering it up, or did he do something bad?
I think he was covering up because he was covering for himself because obviously, he went to jail because he of what happened with
with the imprisoned person.
He beat somebody up in custody and stuff. But then, there's a main suspect that has always been a prime suspect in the case, and that was Dr. Peter Hackett. And last night, John Ray, that's the attorney of Shannon Gilbert and Jessica Taylor, he went into great detail of the events that took place and how much shade Peter Hackett had. And it's just such a crazy case. And you know what? This is on the back burner again because now we're talking about Rex Heuermann, and Rex Heuermann is only attached right now 3 of the victims, and there's a possible 4th that he's going to do. But every day since Friday, there's new updates. Right now they're in both his residencies in Vegas and in North Carolina. They're tearing that place up. He's got 2 storage units that they're doing in Long Island that they're looking at. They're calling in forensics. So this is we're in for it. We're in for a long ride. Unless this dude starts, singing like a bird, I don't know if he's going to do that. Right now he's maintaining his innocence and he's on suicide watch. And I said it before, when he got arrested.
Yeah, I want you to touch on that.
Yeah, when he got arrested, he had a question for the jailers that brought him in, and he asked if it was if this is on in the media. They put it on the news.
Now, do you think that's because he wants to be the face of what happened?
That's all they want.
I think, what? I think all serial killers, their end game is to be the most infamous one, and they want to have their story.
Yeah.
There's one serial killer that if I had to pick that I'm most sympathetic towards, it's probably one of the worst ones, but it's Jeffrey Dahmer. And the reason that I am with him is because he did cooperate once he was arrested. He knew he was a monster. He knew he could not be stopped.
Yeah.
He was very sorry for what he did because he knew he couldn't control it.
Yes.
But he just knew that he was evil. And you know what? Yeah, he also played the role okay, I'm, in his interviews and stuff and did it and said what he had to say. But he also gave the families closure.
Right.
But also it's just, it's a weird case with that, too.
One thing Mike said to me about Dahmer once is that he found him very likable.
He is very likable. He was very charismatic.
I mean, dude, if he ran into me in the club back in the day, he wouldn't have to kill 17 people. He could have ate off of me for 3 years, bro. I probably would have saved a lot of lives.
Saved a lot of
but also, I wasn't in his demographic, man.
Exactly.
No, he didn't like, me.
He didn't like the white meat. Yeah.
No.
So one thing that we were just talking about that from our show last week that we've seen a lot of hate comments, a little bit towards me and Mike, but more so towards the people that were on the show, which is shocking because they're wonderful people. You've been in the public eye for a long time. Like I said, you have many thousand followers for your band Demon Scar. But we have all of us have read some really obnoxious comments about you.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So what's your feeling about that?
Look, if people are going to poke, fun at me because of my size, I've been going through that shit my whole life, man. People have always done that. And if I'm going to take that to heart, I should have killed myself when I was 5, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? My boy in Demon Scar, Meds, my guitarist, he's also one of my best friends in life. He always says it to me, do not engage because they're cowards. They're dudes that type in a dark room that don't have the guts to come up to you and say it to your face. So just let it go and don't engage. And you know what? He's right, because I have take the gloves off and I've gone at these people. But at the end of the day, I still felt the same after I read that shit. So, last night I chuckled because someone wrote something and the description that he wrote of me actually looked more like him and explained him a little bit more.
And the comeback that I think Anthony told you was phenomenal.
Anthony's comeback is amazing, and I've used it twice
explain
so
to
far
people
in life.
Exactly what the comment was and what your retort was.
So the guy wrote on the thing, oh, this guy just looks like another fat, lonely loser that thinks he's a NASCAR driver. So
Pretty funny.
I think it's very hysterical. I started laughing.
Well, Mark, when you came up with that,
I was like, now should I say NASCAR driver or should I say dump truck driver? I wasn't sure what
you
I could
messaged
say.
me. You had a poll.
I'm like,
should I call
NASCAR?
him a NASCAR?
But it was like 7-3 NASCAR, so I went with that.
So I just, thought of the best comeback in the world. And I said, well, if you need to know, dude, I'm about 10 pounds less than your mother. And Anthony DiDomenico came up with that because some heckler said it to him,
It's
and he
brilliant.
shut him up in his tracks.
Yes.
And I used it one time before. I used it at the haunted house because some guy came in with his friends late at night and he was drunk, and he's like, Jesus Christ, how much do you weigh? And I said it to him, and his friends started laughing. They're like, ha, you fucking asshole, now get out of here. Like, look at this.
That's it.
You're going to get killed now. This guy's going to go nuts.
Exactly.
That's it. He's going to eat us all, this motherfucker.
Even them, they gave me rules. Don't engage. And I,
They knew he was a big douchebag.
right. And I was tired. I was on my feet all night, and I was
Yeah.
playing the butcher. And I was
Yeah.
running around, and this asshole just pushed the wrong button that night, and that's why I said it. But, yeah, so I had to say it last night, and immediately the group that it was in, I just left the group because you know what? Then it was going to go back and forth.
Right.
And I just didn't want that. So instead, I shared it with all my friends,
Yeah,
and we all
man.
shared a laugh
And it made
together.
you feel better.
And then all the
coming
back that
with
I-
them is temporary relief.
Yeah.
But when you share it with your friends and everyone,
Yeah, no, man. And then I'm seeing the back already. I'm seeing even my cousin today. My cousin reached out to me, and he sent me something. And I was just like, hey, kid, he's younger than me. I was like, kid, I saw some of the comments that you wrote about me on there, and I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You had my back. And he's like, your family, cuz. I love you. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. So, like, it's cool. People, I guess, like seeing my face every day, talking about something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to run with it. This is something that I am passionate about. And I don't think I'm trying to get notoriety off of such a horrible crime or anything.
No.
I just like the constant updates of what's going on. I want to put my name out there. Yeah. You guys know me. I've been plugging away with Demon Scar and the other stuff that I've been doing forever, and I'm going to continue doing that. But with this, I feel like this is a topic that I know I'm knowledgeable at. I could show people that I am, and I'm just more than, some big buffoon with tattoos that looks ridiculous sometimes.
And then whether or not that meme became viral or you were interviewed or not, you would still be invested in this and still as passionate
100%,
about it.
man.
Now you're just more of a spotlight, not even to your own doing.
Absolutely.
That's
right.
Just like last year when I did the Face of Horror, now I'm doing the real
Wow.
Face of Horror
Oh,
about
wow.
Rex Heuermann.
I'm more surprised
Exactly.
about you speaking well than I am the whole
I don't know where that came from.
That was great,
Yeah.
Mikey.
That was nice.
I think what's important, honestly, is that ultimately nobody should think that you're doing this for any type of gain because that's not who you are, number one. Number two, for me personally, I love when you do your lives and your updates because that situation happened in a community where my child's friends live. Like, I want to know what the fuck was going on there, what else happened, what else is involved
Sure,
here.
man.
So
Absolutely.
this is not a thing where, like, by no means none of us think this is a joke. We don't think there's anything funny about it. This is a fucking disgusting thing. This guy's gonna rot in hell. And the fact that Nick is
Allegedly.
out there. What? Are you friends with Rex Heuermann?
I didn't say friends, but
Mike wants to do a show called Heuermann and the Keegs.
it's in
Hermy
the
and the
works.
Keegs.
Yeah.
The point is, though, like, shit like, you almost thought that this was going to be some grifter eventually that got caught, some fucking homeless guy or whatever.
Could be.
It's a guy living in suburbia around people that we know, that Tony used to live a couple of miles away from, that, my daughter's friends live right down the block. Like,
And
we
it's
want
a
to
guy-
Four towns over, dude.
Yeah.
You're
It's
right
a guy
there.
you walk past on the street of Manhattan in a suit and tie. that
Right.
You probably walk past 1,000 times.
Yep.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
exactly
Blends
right.
in, dude.
Yeah.
It's the neighborhood boogeyman.
Yeah.
And that's what it is right now, and it's always gonna be. I do feel bad for the people of Massapequa Park
Yeah.
because right now they're the new Amityville. Their people are gonna be there constantly now driving by.
Right.
I think when it's said and done, the house probably needs it too. I think they'll knock the shit out of it.
They'll knock
Oh,
it
yeah.
down, 100%. I'm sure it's barely livable now.
No, Robert J was that's his name, I think. Yeah, the attorney, John Ray.
Yeah.
Robert J. John Ray was saying
he
there's
likes
a
going
big
by Robert J. Though.
there's a big beam in the middle of it that's kind of like holding it up. So I mean, he is an architect, so I guess he did rig up something good to hold it up. You know,
exactly.
It's an
So
interesting
I'm
point.
from East Meadow. I had Joel Rifkin growing up. You know, I lived
yeah.
I lived a half a mile from Joel Rifkin growing up.
1428 Garden Street.
Right, exactly.
And I'm in Levittown, and they're all over the place still.
they just haven't been caught.
There's
yet.
no way to quantify exactly where they all are. There's just too many. Like, fuck it. Just
No,
leave it
those are all
alone.
the prostitutes that disappeared from Levittown.
Like growing up, like when anytime any of this stuff ever happened, I was always in the car with my mother or my father. Well, my father was usually forced into driving, but he would be always getting yelling at us. But it was my mom that was really into the true crime with me, and we'd always go to the places. The first place that when I got my license, I drove to Amy Fisher's house. Like it's just been part of me what I do.
Yeah.
You know, most of the first dates that I've gone on with chicks, like I'll be like, hey, you want to go see some like famous murder houses or whatever? And if they go for date 2, that's all right.
And then it's this is a murder house? Well, not yet.
Right? So no, this is the last stop on the tour. This is my house.
That's right. This is an interesting question, Nick, and it's only been 3 days or 4 days. But the truth is, you've been single now for a year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You've been in the limelight for a long time, but this thing is shedding a little bit of a different light on you. Do you anticipate getting some female callers just based on the fact that your look, who you are, how you're presenting yourself, or just your persona in general?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I do.
Me too.
It's the stash.
Yes.
It's the mustache. It's the glasses
I
now.
love it, man.
Dude, I picked a good week to grow a mustache.
Holy shit, did you ever?
Because I've always like been a bad facial hair guy. Like I
Yeah.
have this.
Yeah.
And it's just a bush of like
Yeah.
sorrow. It goes all over the place.
It's a sorrow bush, they call it.
And then all of a sudden, like, I've tried to grow mustaches, and they've always come out shitty, and, like, I'll either burn them off or something,
Yeah.
or shave it wrong. But now, like, it kind of grew in, and now I'm trying to figure out how I got to keep it and, like, make sure it stays this way because I like it.
What are the chances that years, Nikki's around 40 or whatever you are, all these years that you have not been able to properly grow a mustache, but 4 days before they catch Rexy, you got a fucking Tom Selleck going?
Yeah, I know.
What are the
It's-
chances of that?
I don't know.
You're like
Things just always work out for me. People have said that, so I think the mustache gods, I went to go actually visit Burt Reynolds when I was in L.A. in December. So maybe I went and he liked my vibe and he's like, all right, kid, I know you worked hard at this.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it to you.
I mean, honestly, the hat, the shades, the bull nose ring, the facial hair, the ink,
It's everything.
the girth, it's all good, man.
It's all good, dude.
You are a very handsome guy.
Thank you.
It's just people are gonna love this. People are gonna love this until this trial is over, which
Especially
probably
if they
won't
know
be years from now.
how likable you are.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
so lovable.
I have to actually give a shout out to somebody. This
We're
is
gonna
pretty
give you,
cool.
please.
My True Crime Obsession podcast. This woman name is Christine.
Yeah.
I actually met her on the scene, and she invited me yesterday to that John Ray Smithtown Library.
Right.
And it was a packed house, and I was sitting in the back, and all of a sudden she got up and she like walked over and she's like, "Hey, I saved you a seat in the front, dude, in the front row." Bro.
How did she even know that? Did you have conversation with her previously?
I told her I was going.
Oh, okay. So
And
she's like,
she's the one that gave me a tip about that it was going to happen.
Wow.
But she's very cool and she posts updates just like me.
Yeah.
And we've been talking and stuff, and she's a very nice woman. And she was like, she's involved with the Long Island. They're going to do like another crime con. So it's a good circle.
I love that kind of stuff.
It's
too,
interesting.
serial killer stuff.
So
Now
I definitely want to give a shout out to her.
we're gonna make sure that you share the link in that group tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they can hear this.
And probably a dumb question: the John Ray thing you went to, was that a coincidence? Or did they schedule it after?
No. He said his phone has been blowing up.
Okay, so he just scheduled.
He
it
actually
after
got
all
a
this stuff
tip
happened.
like 3 days before the arrest.
Oh, really?
And right after that, he said he's been doing interviews and press conferences and stuff because he's been on the case now for 12 years.
Yeah.
And he's already invested like $50,000 of his own money into this. And he's not going to stop because he's relentless. And he even said he said it in these words that he's a stubborn Irishman and he's not going to stop until it's like he made a pledge.
Yeah.
That's what Mark says, but he's Jewish.
Yeah, I want to pass as Irish because I'm short and look like a leprechaun. but
Now, John Ray, he was representing
Shannon Gilbert and Jessica Taylor.
Did he allude to anything like he thinks Rex Heuermann might have been involved with?
No,
Shannon
he doesn't
Gilbert?
think
Not at
so.
all?
But he was in the courtroom, and he said that, judging by his presence, this is the guy definitely who's involved with these 4 girls that, because he just said the way that he came in, they say that he said that, people say you can look at someone and say, oh, I see the evil in their eyes. He's like, it's not in their eyes, it's in their mouth. If you look at his mugshot, you could see it's almost a grimace. And when he walked into the courtroom, he really didn't engage with anyone. He looked around once, and he had that same look on his face. Now, what I'm thinking about Rex now, this is my own personal thing from what I'm hearing, because people are saying that some people have had encounters with him, and they're talking about his narcissism.
He sounds like a jerk.
You know what I'm thinking? I don't think his wife or his kid had no idea, because he was probably a workaholic. He probably was out of the house so much, and when he was there, he probably acted like an asshole, so they kept their distance.
They don't want to be there.
No, they don't want to be there. So this guy could have done anything that he wanted.
Well, didn't they already clear the wife and said they verified that she was out of town for at least 3 of these?
Yeah, that's when that's what they said for the 3 killings, that all the pings and stuff. She was in Iceland, she was in Jersey, and this weekend coming up, she was supposed to be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, wow.
So,
thank God that
who
didn't
knows?
happen.
But who knows? He might have not stopped killing, and maybe he's tied to, interstate killing in these other towns and stuff. We're going to find all this stuff out.
Well, apparently, and I've heard this from many different sources beyond the Armchair Detective, that they went in and got him before they wanted to. They didn't want to do it yet, but they felt like he was ready to do something again bad. So they went ahead and got him on Thursday, but they weren't planning to close this out just yet. So maybe, again, she was on verge of going to Comic-Con. He likes to do things pretty shitty when she's not home.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When the cat's away.
Yeah, that's right. Rexy will play.
Rexy will play.
And, going back to this also, this has been such a crazy week. It started off with Leslie Van Houten from the Manson family getting paroled.
Yes.
That's easy for you to say.
Then Rex Heuermann gets arrested for the Gilgo thing. Today in Vegas, there was a warrant put out to investigate the death of Tupac in some house in Vegas.
I saw that.
Dude, what my head's going to explode.
It's just,
really?
Obviously a lot of more stuff's going to come out with technology as it advances. But you're right. All these cold cases.
Wait, they're saying I didn't follow the Tupac thing today. That he was killed in a house, not in the car.
No, he was killed in a car. But they said that they raided a house in connection possibly with the murder.
Holy shit!
So maybe they found a car or something or whatever. I don't know. Nothing. I don't know what. I gotta look when I get out of here.
Better get the hell on it.
I want to go to Vegas now.
Exactly.
Rex Heuermann killed Tupac.
He lived in Vegas.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine?
Holy
Dude, he'd
shit.
be the Gilgo Killer and the death of fucking West Coast rap.
My God.
Oh, no, East Coast. Well, Tupac was both. He went to West and he died, but he's an East Coast guy first.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Imagine, dude. It's so crazy, bro. That's, and the thing with Tupac, too, that's a lot of shade, too, because, dude, it's Vegas. Everything is on camera, bro. How the fuck do you not solve that case?
Well, it was also 20 years ago, so maybe there wasn't as many cameras back then.
That's another one where they're saying law enforcement might have been involved.
Yeah, they were saying that guy. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, listen, we don't have you all night, and we know your time is money. So one thing I want to make sure that we touch on is that, so we have Nizza from Demon Scar. He's a lead singer. He's the frontman from the band Demon Scar. He is a father. He has a day gig. He's the Armchair Detective. He also happens to be part of the soundtrack, and I believe in the movie as well.
And an executive producer.
And an executive producer for an upcoming horror flick called The Forest Hills. Now, this is not some indie film that was made with a $2,000 budget. You have some big names, not just Nizza, Nick Greystone from the Armchair Detective fame. You have Edward Furlong from the famous movies The Terminator. You have Shelley Duvall in the movie
from Fairy Tale Theater.
From
right.
That's what I know.
And Popeye.
From Popeye and from The Shining.
Right.
The
And
greatest horror film of all
you
time,
have
The
Nick
Shining.
Greystone also. Do we happen to be able to punch that up, Tony? Oh man,
Who are you talking to?
Maybe coincidentally,
We're gonna
Tony might
punch
have-
This
up.
is a little clip that it's a little teaser actually that the director sent to me that I'm supposed to share with people to see if they want to be involved with the soundtrack, so they could get like a little glimpse of it. It's only 20 seconds because we can't really put out a lot of stuff, but this is a little clip from the film.
You all have to be very careful of the beasts out here. I'm not going to tell you what kind they are. Every single time I tell the locals, they all just laugh at me like I'm some sort of clown.
Dude, this movie is no joke. You have been talking about this film, working on it, raising funds for it for what feels like at least 2 years. I don't know if it is that.
Dude, you know what? I've only been involved in it since January,
Yeah,
but it's been
that's what I
filming.
thought.
It's been filming for like
That's what I thought.
for about a year and a half, and we actually did a premiere of it, and Tubi was very interested in it, but they also wanted more horror added to the movie.
Yes.
So we did some reshoots and everything, and that's when they brought me back in as an executive producer, because when I first came in, I was just on the soundtrack and I was in the background with Edward Furlong in a scene.
Yeah.
And then I personally invested in the movie, and because I believed in it, and I thought that it's really done well, and it's not your typical horror movie. And I just saw the new cut, and right now we're just about to sell the film, and it's going to be distributed, and it's pretty exciting.
It
Man.
looks awesome, and this is like Shelley Duvall's first movie in
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, man.
It's phenomenal.
So if any bands want to hit me up, DM me, and I could see if I could try to work something out. We're looking for some post-production funding just to get the LLC
Yep.
set up, and also
Tie up the loose ends. You know how it
It's
is.
about a tennis stadium in Queens, right?
The Forest Hills. That's right.
It's where the Ramones play. Were born.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome, man. It looks awesome. Invest in it. I want to share it with all our viewers.
Yeah, please. So if you want to be a part of the soundtrack, DM me. I can make you probably an associate producer, get you a song on the soundtrack that's going to be released on Unhealed Records, which is Demon Scar's label. And it's got a bunch of great bands on it. A couple of my buddies are on it. A Nizza solo song is on it, which that's another thing next week. I'm going to plug that. My video with my collaborator, Kay Lovely, we're going to put out a video for Last Ride that was filmed in Kings Park a couple of months ago. It looks awesome. We're actually playing a gig. We're opening up for Shaggy Too Dope from Insane Clown Posse in September at the Webster Theater in Connecticut. And Demon Scar, I guess I could do breaking news about Demon Scar now, too.
Do it.
It's pretty sick. So we have a new single coming out, but they just asked us to come back to play Milwaukee Metal Fest for next year.
Shut the front door.
So we're going to be playing the Milwaukee Metal Fest next year, which I probably shouldn't have broke that news so quick, but I'm
Tony,
so
edit
excited.
that, please.
excited.
Edit
No,
that
it's
out.
fine.
We want it
Cancel
out there.
this whole
It's
show.
We're not live. We're not live at all.
No, so we're going to do that, and they're resurging another festival in Asbury Park. It's an old metal festival, and we're going to be part of that too. I'm not going to name that.
No.
But that's going to be sometime in the spring, and they're pinning dates down, but once the dates are down for Milwaukee Metal Fest, it looks like it's the beginning of June. Demon Scar round 2. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. We won't talk out of school, but the Asbury Park show might have someone with the name that rhymes with Truce Flingstein in it.
Demon
that's it.
Scar featuring Truce Ting Ting.
Yeah, exactly.
Flintstone?
This is the second time we've had Nick Greystone on the show.
Guys, it was
Won't
great.
be the last.
Honestly, well, we hope it's not, because we don't know what's about to hit. Between the Armchair Detective, between Nizza, Demon Scar, between this album that's coming out, between the film that's coming out, this guy's ready to explode. We had him here. You guys asked. We had him. We love him. Thank you guys for listening. For all you new viewers that are watching, please make sure you like us on Facebook,
Smash
on
the
YouTube.
subscribe button.
YouTube, Facebook, Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. You want to make sure you follow Hershey the Keegs on Instagram,
Hershey the
TikTok.
Keegs, too.
Hershey on the Keegs. Hurman on the Keegs is a new show that's coming on.
Knock 'em dead.
There it is. Herman
Nizza
and the
6.
Keegs show.
At Nizza 6.
All right, Hermie and the Keegs show. You'll go ahead and post that, Tony. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, Nikki. We love you. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, dude.
And me and Mikey and Tony will be back next week. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.